I'm here today with Gavin Lockyer. He's the Managing Director for Arafura Resources. Gavin, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Tracy, and good to be speaking with you again.
Well, it's great to get an update from Arafura as you are one of the leading power players in the rare earth industry. And you most recently had an AGM. Can you give us some of the highlights in your AGM, Gavin?
Sure, I guess for those of you that know the company, it was actually nice to have a nice smooth AGM without too much controversy, and it seemed that most of the shareholders were happy that attended, and it was my first AGM as managing director, and I really enjoyed it, and hopefully the investors found it informative. We had a lot of good news to tell about the ways that we're reducing our CapEx and OpEx.
Well, you're reading my mind because that was my next question. Obviously, your shareholders are delighted with the reductions for both your CapEx and OpEx. Why don't you start with the reductions in your CapEx, and then let's talk about your OpEx reductions.
Sure, we've been, I think it was announced at your conference, Tracy, in Toronto in March this year that we were targeting major CapEx reductions. And our team has been working very hard in trying to achieve that. We've relocated a lot of the plant back to the mine site. That has led to significant CapEx reductions. But we've also looked at our processes and ways that we can make them more efficient. And one of the key things there is removal of the hydrochloric acid pre-leach, and that has both significant CapEx and OpEx savings. We're still working through the CapEx on that, but the OpEx and the sheer volume of material that needs to be moved into Central Australia is significantly reduced.
Okay, and then I think there also, for those of us that are watching the race to rare earth production, your key elements to commercialization. You had a very dynamic presentation on what's happening here in this upcoming 2014-2015 period. Would you mind just giving us a summary of that?
Sure. It's a two-pronged attack, really. Our commercial team is focused on offtake and securing and cementing those arrangements with potential customers. That, of course, comes alongside some sort of a financing arrangement. We're very grateful to have people like ThyssenKrupp, our Chinese partners, who are all coming together with their sovereign banks and or debt providers to assist us in that regard. And the other prong to that attack is around our own technology breakthroughs. So the guys in-house have been working on ways to simplify and streamline the process, but also through our Chinese partner, we are engaging with actual rare earth experts within China to review our flow sheet and to try and drive our CapEx and OpEx down much further than we've currently achieved.
Well, Gavin, you've just brought up an excellent point. I think one of the hottest topics on the street this week is how to secure financing, and you have successfully done this and brought in some very powerful strategic partners. Can you tell me why you think you've had a competitive advantage in actually being able to successfully do this?
We've had a pretty good relationship with our major shareholder, ECE, who's a state-owned enterprise based in Jiangsu Province, Nanjing. They have introduced us to a range of people within China, in particular Shanghai Resources, who is a Shanghai-listed entity who currently has around 4 to 5% of the Chinese quota. So this is an existing business, and who are obviously well familiar with the whole rare earth food chain from mine site all the way through to end customer. So we're hoping to build on that in the next 6 to 12 months.
Well, if you don't mind me saying, I probably would have answered with, what an amazing property and project we have at Nolans So Gavin, would you mind, for some of our interested parties and readers for InvestorIntel who may not be aware of what a well-positioned player you are on the planet, can you give us a bit of an overview of Nolans Bohr, please? Thank you.
Sure. We're one of the very few organisations outside of China that actually has a maiden JORC ore reserve, and we're very proud of that. We announced that in December last year, and that effectively provides us with a 22-year life of mine, which is quite significant in terms of when you look at the end users in this space. Have the likes of major car manufacturers have long-term growth ambitions in their hybrid electric vehicles, and so to have a mine life of at least 22 years is extremely good. The Nolans bore resource in itself is greatly enriched in the magnet feed material, which is great, and we believe one of the growth industries of the rare earth sector. We believe that there'll be growth in that market of around 10% per annum. In addition, and there's a lot of talk in the marketplace around lights versus heavies, but we were very pleased in recent discussions with potential customers in both Japan and at the recent Hong Kong conference that the growth in lanthanum and cerium also sounds very strong. So we believe having actual enrichment in those elements should go a long way to assist us in getting into commercialization.
Thank you, Gavin, so much for joining us today.
Thanks very much, Tracy.